Hi everyone, this is Rashid from ITLEC. Today we'll speak about a very interesting subject. Okay, this is HTTP request engine. So first of all, what is HTTP request engine and what's its use cases? Okay, so let's for example we have HTTP request. HTTP request can be SOAP, can be XML, can be REST, or even you may, when we navigate from one page to another, in the end it is HTTP request and the response is HTML. Okay, so this is one of the use cases to generate response for any HTTP request. Another one, let's assume you have API, okay, and you want to simulate the result from this API, or in the integration testing. In the integration testing, we usually have two systems. Integration system usually happens between more than one system. One system speaks to another system. So in case you don't have the another system, so how you achieve this testing? Okay, so this also one of the use cases. So first of all, my main idea was divide and conquer, which means in for each HTTP request engine, there are two types. Some are static or generic, and another are custom related to business. So for example, for static, let's say I have URL. Once I hit this URL, okay, I'm expecting the same result every time. Another one, it's like if the request coming to me with a payload or predefined request inside it, the response should be something static as well. We have, for example, if the coming is XML or SOAP, and I wanted to fire schema validation for this request, I have also something called uh, isolated validation. Isolated validation means, let's say the incoming is XML or SOAP, and I have some rules, and I want to apply those rules to this request. Okay, and we have XML encryption, we have in XML, sorry, transformation, XSLT, and we have encryption, decryption, signing, things like that. All of those are generic, but we for sure will face some business scenarios. For example, I have a bill, I have a student to insert, or reconciliation, or settlements, or general ledger, things like that. We have to write our code. Okay, so in the HTTP request engine, I used several of design patterns, but mainly I use template design pattern, so I can uh, group common structure and behavior for all scenarios in one place. Responsibility chain means uh, for each request can handle by one or multiple handlers, and we have the builder design pattern, and in the end of the day we have singleton. We can use it as to keep the configuration in the memory, or uh, for connection strings, and to open connection with different databases. Okay, so here is the uh, class. It will be something, our HTTP request come here to have something called scenario request, and this scenario request will go through first scenario, second scenario, third scenario, fourth scenario, and so on. Okay, here we call it, this is a class diagram. Class diagram are very simple. We have some functions. This is abstract class, I have execute, generate response, generate scenario params, set next scenario, and each scenario or handler will implement the main one. Okay, so here is the pipeline. The pipeline will be by default, it will go through all the handlers and custom HTTP request header. I will have something called scenario name and check all lists. Those are parameters coming in the request header. Okay, so if this request header contains a value with specific name, I will hit only this scenario, and this also check all scenarios. It is like a flag, okay, to say I want to check all the scenarios or no. Okay. For response we have three types of response template. We have someone static template, I have basic template, and I have advanced template. Basic template is something static, just for example HTML page static. Here is basic template. If I have a placeholder and I want to replace it with any value from the request, and here is template engine 40 T4 a free marker, whatever. uh, we can use it to generate more dynamic or more complex template. Here is the configuration we will see. We have like XML. This XML contains of request mapping config. For each request I have to uh, define it. For example, the content type, what is the header, what are the HTTP method, get or post or delete or whatever. Uh, and here are some where is my configuration per each scenario or per each handler. Okay, and here we define the response. We'll go through all of this. Here HTTP request engine isolated validation for XML only, which means let's say I have incoming message and I want to validate against against this request. So I can say, for example, I have a lookup to read from database. It is between one and whatever number. I wanted to count a specific X bus. I have also some custom validation. And in the end of the day, we can add as much as we want. Okay. And here we have as well message template. Uh, For HTTP request engine data at rest, we have multiple. We have multiple requests, and we can save them in a generic way. This entity data or entity metadata table, which will contain, for example, what are the entities we have and what are the most three important fields. Okay, and entity data will contain what is the name of entity, the entity XML, usually entity XML, or entity, we can say entity, this actually for the SOAP or XML request only. It will save the full request as is and extract the most important three fields as per our configuration. Okay. In the end of the day, if we have something complex, I will go and implement this get scenario, scenario chain as abstract class. We spoke about it, and we will have to override two methods. First, get scenario param, and second, generate response. Okay, is data persistence. Okay, here's the real example. We'll have a look in our demo. Let's say in the coming request, I wanted to check, for example, if the Bella existed or not in our database. And here I have some value. For example, here's the XBus, and I want to validate this XBus with regular expression. So I can make it like this. Here's italic SQL validation, and here I insert my uh, SQL statement. Okay, and inside this SQL statement, I can type whatever X passes I want. Okay, so let's have a demo now. So here, let's see. This is italic application. So let's connect to my database. It is based on Azure. Okay, and now let's see what we have in this one. Let's first make sure it is empty, and now let's see what we have here in the metadata to see exactly uh, our configuration. So as we can see here, I have two entities. First one bill, second one billa, and the first field will be billa ID and billa number, and in the billa we have billa ID and status. Okay, so here is the configuration. As we can see, I have first one for static response peer URL. For example, this one, okay, contains the static. So let's say, for example, if I get this one, okay, here, and I will duplicate here's this one. I copy it just as a proof of concept. Okay, okay. I hate copy and paste usually, a lot of issues, but yeah, here we go. I will add new static response, and I call this hello world. I will make it here whatever HTML. Okay, it will be get, and here I don't have any header. It's fine. Okay, and the response. Let's create here a response. Let's say, for example, uh, let's add this one. H1 hello world. Okay, save and HTML. HTML. Yep. Here's the run. Let's get this one, and the response should be this one. And save. So now we defined our static response. Okay. So now let's start our simulator. So I will come here and type this one, and now let's open, for example, uh, this new HTTP, and I will get something like this, and here it will world.html. Okay, just okay, this is here we are. Here we are again back. Okay, so this, because I didn't implement this URL, it gives me not implemented or not handled scenario. So if I come here and let's see exactly what I have typed here. Okay, I make it hello world only. So hello world only. Just copy and paste. Okay, so let's see why it is not coming. We have get request, here. It's get. Yeah, I forgot the issue. Okay, actually, here there was empty header, so it was like empty header. So just I remove it like that. It is working. Okay, so now we can see it. If I take this one as is, if I come in any Chrome I have, let's say for example this one, and now I have hello world. So I can use this for any uh, HTTP for example, or HTML static pages. So this is one of the use. Another use, for example, I can simulate API. So for example, if I have API, specific API, I will get a specific response. So this is the first one. Second one here, if I have like predefined uh, predefined requests. Okay, so here is the type of the request. Here is the header. Okay, my request must meet those criteria, and in the end I will respond with, and also my request must have this payload specifically, and the file path should continue this uh, the value of the response with those headers in the response with the status code. And if I want to make it delay in seconds, I can add it in this field. Okay, here is the schema. Schema is so simple. Okay, and we have here something for persistence. Sorry, for XML validation. So again, I just give it what is my URL, what are my header or the criteria of the coming request. If it is matched with this, it will respond with this response. Okay, this response uh, here, for example, it is a dynamic. Okay, so dynamic means if I want to make it dynamic based on my configuration. Here is the configuration. So I have it here in the isolated validation. If I come here, okay, here is my the XBus for my incoming XML. Here is the description. Here is uh, the one we have here. Okay, we have here like the regular expression, or it can be custom expression as well. So here I wanted to validate for if this Bella is available or not. Here, check existed or not, and here is the template. So let's see how it will work this one. Don't save anything. Just let's back to our postman.
Here we go. So I will be in the payload. I have my request here and I will click send. I want to see. Okay. So I get the response. Okay. Not existed because it is not existed. But if I add it to my database, so let's add it here. Okay. I will come here and I will add it. So actually, let's open another one. I will open iClick again and I will give open the connection, cancel. I set the connection. Now let's execute the SQL statement. I already executed. So now if just to see what happened, okay, if I select now from data, okay, I have Beller and I have this first field value and the status active. If I click, okay, so yeah, actually, this happens because here I didn't set the uh, SQL connection. So simple, I click and let's open set the connection. Control C and let's open the simulator again. And here we go. If I click here, I will get the response. Okay, so now it go for database. It executes some SQLs. Okay, so data now is saved, but I didn't not implement the response. Actually, I implemented with this statement. Okay, so if I come here, if I want to see what happened, I will click select again and new one will be created. We'll see now instead of we have only one, we